starts to worship the mother goddess, imploring her. Now you see, you think that this person who has had this Brahmagnan, why is he taking on this particular role of imploring the mother goddess and looking for God with form to come in front of him? There is a reason behind it. You see, what we discover in the story of this Ramakrishna is this. This is some of the astute thinkers have said about Ramakrishna. This becomes visible in this story. As the story unfolds, you see the depth of the story. They say, in the life of this one human being, this Ramakrishna, we see, if you like, the aspirations of millions of Hindus for thousands of years coming together. You see, the Hindus have employed this idea, have employed this idea of God with form, God as a personality to play with, interact, actually experience firsthand. They've invoked this idea. And this idea had been very visible. And here in this one life, you're going to see a reconciliation of variety of different spiritual approaches reconciled in one human life. One human life. This is the comprehensive ideas that become visible in the story of Ramakrishna. Spirituality not explored in if you like, a narrow manner, but in the most widest manner possible. That is why he was getting this mother goddess to come and play with him. He said, "Come, O mother, if you are for real, show yourself to me, O mother." Now the story continues. This boy in the afternoon is not easily visible in the temple. He seems to disappear somewhere, goes in some lonely place. At night he does even worse things. At night, there is a temple in the north part of Dakshineshwar. There is a forest area in the north part of Dakshineshwar temple. Forest, very deep forest in those times. People would not normally get in the forest. At night, this boy, this young man, started to disappear into the forest. Now he had one nephew who was looking after him and calling him Mama. This Bhaniya was very special, and his name is Hriday. He's another character that's going to enter the story of Ramakrishna. So this Hriday was looking after Ramakrishna, and Ramakrishna was doing this weird thing. He said, "Mama, this is not good. They'll throw both of us out of the temple. Behave yourself." And Mama said, "Look, my boy, let me do what I like." And this was the kind of relation between Mama and Banej. They were going on quite well. Then Hriday suddenly saw that at night this Mama disappears into the forest. What is he up to? So one night he decided to follow him. But he's a bit frightened of going in the deep forest. Because why? It was built on a place cemetery. So ghosts. They're worried about not animals but ghosts, wandering around in the forest, going yuppie and having party. So this Hriday was a bit nervous about following the Mama into the forest. But he said, "Let me do something, let me see." Now you can see the naive story. So this Hriday looked around, he saw some stones. He picked up some stones, and when he saw Mama disappearing into the bushes, he picked up the stones and threw in that direction. So it'll make crash sound. He thought the Mama will come and run away saying, "Ah, ghost, and come back." He was trying to frighten his Mama to come back, so he could leave the forest. And no Mama came back. So he said, "Let me go. I'll be adventurous. I'll go follow him." He went there and he saw this Ramakrishna sitting under a tree. You see, he was a Brahmin boy. He was wearing a janoi. He had taken the janoi away. He used to wear very simple, literally one piece of white cloth all his life. This one. He had discarded the piece of cloth, no cloth. So this is kind of no janoi, no cloth, just sitting, deep meditation under a tree. He said, this is unusual. When you sit in meditation, why do you throw your clothes off? This is a bit too much, too weird. And this Hriday was thinking, Mama is becoming possessed by some ghost or something, doing weird thing, throwing his janoi away. That is like discarding your religion. This is terrible. What is he up to? Doing weird things here. So Hriday went, said, Mama, what are you doing? And Ramkrishna deep in meditation. But after some time, he came off to meditation. He said, Mama, what are you doing? And the reply we get is a prescription that fits all of us. He said, listen, my boy, if you wish to experience spirituality, you need not to discard. You know what I'm doing? I'm discarding the externals. Look, on his body, you will never find any ornament. No janoi, nothing. One piece of white cloth, and even that used to fall away from time to time. And we had to run, some of his disciples had to run and tie down tightly, because it's a matter of seeing. Let me tell you another story that kind of fits in this thing. When he became a little bit more famous later on, Devendranath Tagore wanted to talk to him, a very famous personality, Rabindranath Tagore's father, and they had a nice conversation about spirituality. And Ramkrishna was like, he went to visit Devendranath Tagore. This is the unique feature of this personality. He would go out and visit anybody he felt was kind of rattling with spirituality. He wanted to interact with them. They didn't come looking, he went looking for them. Very special. You won't get somebody like him. So he went to see Devendranath Tagore. They had a nice conversation. He was very saying, wow, this Devendranath is a lovely person, trying to be like a King Janak, living in the worldly life and still being spiritual. Marvelous. He came away. While they were talking, Devendranath Tagore said, you are such a lovely person. Look, he is giving, credential to Ramkrishna. He said, you are such a lovely person. We got a special function with all the dignitaries coming next week, and I would like to invite you. But please, wear better clothes. Cover the top and the bottom. There will be ladies present. Don't come like that. And this Ramkrishna, guileless chap, he didn't take it serious. He said, oh well, I can't be a dandy like you, he said. I'll come like this. I can't just turn a dandy because you want me to turn a dandy. And Devendranath Tagore, don't worry, come. But look at the story. This is an unusual story. Next day, Devendranath Tagore wrote to Mathur Babu, don't bring him, because I can't trust him, he's going to come like that. Now let me show you. You see, human beings look at the external and forget to look at the real stuff. Here is almost a God-man coming to his door, trying to come into his home. And for the sake of these externals, he sent him away. Whose bad luck? Just think about that. But let me continue with the story. So, Mama, what are you doing? And Ramakrishna says something that touches me. In fact, that touched me. This is when I read the story of Sri Ramakrishna for the first time, from this little booklet, when I was 17-year-old too. When I came to that part, I shuddered. He said, my boy, if you want to drink from the fountain of spirituality, discard the externals. You know what the externals are? Bhaya, lajja, gruna. We are in, if you like, we can't, they are incorporated in our system. Suppose somebody does clap, you all go like that. Bhaya is inbuilt in us. Lajja, gruna, aversion, kind of shyness, bodiness, this body, if you like, this oneness with the body, it is embedded in our structure. We need to break free from the shackles, these shackles that limit us and do not allow us to get a deeper vision into reality. We must discard this if we wish to touch base with our spiritual being. That is why I am discarding all the externals. I have no lajja, no gruna, nothing. I am in search of God. And boy said, Mama, don't tell everybody, because this is unusual. Discarding the jano is considered to be sacrilegious. You are not supposed to discard your jano. This is terrible. But this Mama was unusual. The character was unusual. And the unique feature about this personality is his ordinariness. That's why there are no people beating drums at his door, no major cult or a sectarian movement springing up in his name. This is a good sign, because if you like, this shows that as the world evolves, as humanity evolves, the way they will relate to the idea of spirituality cannot necessarily be cultish or narrow. It has to be very broad. It should relate to the ordinary. That's why the life of this person is very ordinary. I mean, I've deliberately cut out any magical stuff. I kept it to the minimum so that it appears as ordinary as possible, because that is the aim of this particular personality. This is the fountainhead of spirituality, this Sri Ramakrishna. People have not even heard the name, but I'm taking the gamble of dishing him out into greater society. So be it. In fact, when I'm challenged, sometimes I'm challenged quite often because I interact with the Hindus all the time. I'm challenged. Mr. Lakhani, what is your authority? Did you go to Banaras Hindu University to study Hinduism? Have you studied the scriptures? This and that. I say, oh, leave me alone. I don't know any of that. I only know my mentor, and the name of my mentor is called Swami Vivekananda. And you Hindus voted him at the end of last century as the spiritual light of India in the last century. So that's it's a general vote of confidence in Swami Vivekananda that I rely on. That is my authority and inspiration. And then you see, if you talk to Vivekananda and say, What is your source of authority? This Vivekananda says, look, leave me out. Everything that I have acquired, and these are his words, lovely stuff. He was very, very truthful, he was not being modest. He said, look, if there is anything good I have said or anything good I have done, know for certain it was inspired by my master called Ramkrishna. And all the mistakes were my production. See, this was not just being modest. He was aware that he is working also under the shadow of a spiritual giant, this Ramakrishna, who is almost an unknown personality. So, when anybody attacks me, I pass the buck to Vivekananda. When anybody kind of attacks Vivekananda, he passes the buck on to Sri Ramakrishna. This is called passing the buck in English. And why are we comfortable with that? Because we know we are dealing with a super personality, a giant, who appears very ordinary, very simple, very humble. So we have started the story of Sri Ramakrishna. In the first part we say, here is a young man, about 18, keen not to just believe in the idea of spirit, religion, mother goddess, but actually coming face to face with it. See, a unique feature of our religion. It has never been a belief system. It always says it has to be experiential. And this becomes visible with this young man imploring the mother of the universe, saying, oh mother, are you for real or make believe? Are you just this stone image that I am worshipping? Oh mother, if you are for real, why don't you show yourself to me? I have heard historic accounts of other people seeing the mother goddess. Why can't I? Am I that bad? Why don't you appear in front of me, oh mother? And this man now works very hard. All day he's just thinking of the mother goddess, imploring her. At night he disappears into the forest. All night he sits under a tree and meditates and focuses on the idea of the great creator, the mother of the universe. And he wants her to become visible. This went on. This is very long. You see, he had this highest spiritual experience without any prompting at the age of 7. He just hit on it straight away. And now he's 18 and he wants to be the mother of the universe. He's taking his time. The story says for 6 years he used to cry, implore the mother of the universe, saying, oh mother, show yourself to me if you are for real. Otherwise, how can I believe you? Mother, show yourself. He used to rub his face on the ground and cry, oh mother, oh mother. And the passers-by, standard stuff, would look at him and say, oh, maybe his mother is in the village, he's missing his mummy. But he was looking for the mother of the universe, not his mummy in Kamarpukur. People cannot make the difference. And so, yes, maybe the fellow loves his mother's boy, he wants his mummy. Fair enough. And the story goes on. For 6 years he's imploring. His eyes are red because he doesn't sleep at night. And all day he's just thinking of nothing but the mother goddess. Nothing but mother goddess, day and night. 6 years passed like that. The story continues. One day this Ramakrishna in the temple of mother goddess looked at the image of mother goddess and said, oh mother, I've had enough. I told you you're strong-willed. I had enough. Today, either you show yourself to me or I kill myself. Now, whenever we've done this story, through plays that we've done many times in the past, we always told the audience, this part of the story comes with a health warning. Don't do what Ramkrishna did next, otherwise we'll all be visiting you in the hospital. Don't do it. We strictly say, Ramkrishna can do it, you can't do it, leave it alone. So this Ramakrishna, when he came to the end of his tether, he looked at the image of Mother Goddess, oh mother, show yourself to me. And he looked around. In the temple of Kali temple, they put some of the weapons of the Mother Goddess on the walls as decoration. And there is a nice kind of sword of the Mother Kali on the temple wall of Dakshineshwar. And this young man had enough. After so many years, this is getting too much. He jumped up like a madman. He was almost there like a madman anyway. He jumped up, picked up the sword, was about to really chop his head off. That's why I said this part comes with health warning. Don't attempt it at home. He picked up the sword, about to chop his head off. Real story in real times, in our times. And then in his own word, because he was very candid, he would talk frankly about his spiritual experience with his disciples. It's well recorded, so it's no supposition. This is his experience in his own words. And when I hear this experience, it gives me a thrill, because this is what it should be. This is what it should be. Can't be anything less. He said in my own words, in his own words, he said, when I was about to bring this life to an end, because I had enough, and I was about to do that, suddenly, he said, the floor on which I was standing, the walls of the temple which I could see all around me, the image of the Mother Goddess, everything began to disappear, disintegrate, disappeared. Look, if you stand on the floor and suddenly if you look down, there's no floor, it will be very worrying. Everything disappeared. But the good part is you too disappear. You can't see your body either. In this state, he says, I saw, look at the language of spirituality in our times, expressed by a person who is talking from experience, not some book learning, no scriptures, no shastras. He said, I saw huge waves roaring, made of light. See, not some material being. Huge waves of light roaring and coming to me from all different directions. There is no temple, there is no wall, there is no body, but the waves are coming towards me. I see them roaring and overpowering me. And I fall down exhausted. These are the sweetest thing you can experience. These are the waves of spiritual experience kind of, rising through your body, your whole system. He said, I fell, and there I see the blissful mother standing in front of me. In this state, and of course he fell down on the floor, because the rest of the people say, oh, the madman is fallen down now. Carry him into his room. So they picked him up, took him to his room. He stayed like this for 3 days, in that blissful state, completely oblivious to the rest of the world, the physical world. And the only thing you could hear from his lips was, Mother, oh Mother, oh Mother. Look, spiritual experience has to be that dynamic, that heartfelt, that powerful, that overpowering. It cannot be anything less. When I read these experiences, I get a thrill. Look, this is inheritance that belongs to all of us. We all are destined for such powerful experiences where we lose this kind of idea of our limited being and experience ourselves in its true glory as a spiritual being. And here you see this kind of these waves coming and overwhelming this Sri Ramakrishna. He is in sight, if you like, he's got first hand, he's, if you like, face to face with the spirituality that he was conjuring up, developing. Mother Goddess comes in front of me. Sometimes we think, here is the Mother Goddess, and his little son, little Bhakta called Ramakrishna. That's how they see him. As the devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, Kali devotee of Dakshineshwar. I say, look, you missed the point. It is not that the Mother Goddess has conjured or produced this Ramakrishna. When I look at the depth of this personality, it is this Ramakrishna who has conjured up the Mother Goddess. Can you believe things like that? He is playing along as a devotee of the great Mother Goddess. The Mother Goddess has been produced from this being. He conjured her up. He was taking his time. This is the strength and the depth of this Ramakrishna. Few people would recognize. And he never made any fuss about it. But now a situation arises between the Mother Goddess and this Ramakrishna, which is highly unusual, not seen in the history of mankind. You see, what happens in most cases is the great bhaktas have a fleeting glimpse of their ideal, the deity of their choice. Meera, Tukaram, Tulsi, they get a fleeting glimpse. And that charges up the rest of their life. They are no longer the same. With this case of Sri Ramakrishna, this vision is permanent. This has not been visible in the history of mankind. God and man interacting with each other throughout, continually, from now on until the end of his life. This first-hand spiritual experience, fully flowing, fully visible, fully intense in one lifetime throughout the rest of his life. This has not been recorded in the history of mankind. It is that dramatic, that dynamic. Now this young man is able to see the Mother Goddess, talk to him, play with him, and have great fun. Imagine being able to relate to personality, spirituality in this personalized manner and interact with that personality. Great deal of fun and games are now kind of the name of the game. Let me just also touch on some of the interesting things that are happening at the same time. Now this Ramakrishna's method of worshipping has changed dramatically, because he sees now not that image, but he sees the real Mother Goddess. So when he goes for offering food, I'm telling you, he's going to break every Shastra, laws of Shastra. He's allowed, I told you, you don't know what he's doing. He's manufacturing this himself. So now once in a while, there's a little bed for the Mother Goddess to lie down for siesta. This you don't touch that. This is sacred thing, Mother Goddess. This Ramakrishna would go and lie down on it. No difficulty. And sometimes when he offering food to the Mother Goddess, he say, "Oh Mother, do you want me to have it first?" "Don't worry, Mummy, here, I eat first and give it to you." He's giving her his prasad. People go, you're not supposed to do stuff like that. It becomes like that and say, what is happening? What is happening? See, this is spirituality, real spirituality. It doesn't wait for a kind of sanction from some scriptures. It produces new scriptures of modern spirituality unfolding on modern stage. He's interacting with the Mother Goddess in the most intimate, in the most personal manner, without any bother about what the scriptures might say or not say. Now the people in the temple got worried. The temple is going down the tube now. The things are not happening that should be happening. This guy is doing weird things in the temple. And the story went that everybody is worried, and they told the temple authorities, this is a madman, he should be thrown out. But I told you, this Mathur Babu was able to see the depth of this personality, and this is a wonderful incident. You see, I told you, he keeps himself hidden as just a little devotee, wallowing, "Oh mummy." There is much more to this Ramakrishna. In this particular period, for example, one day when he's just walking up and down in front of his room, this Mathur Babu from his room, he had his own room near the temple, was watching him. And this is Mathur Babu's experience, again well recorded. He said, "I saw this Ramakrishna move, go from one side of the porch to the other, started walking, and suddenly, with open eyes, I saw that's not Ramakrishna, that is Shiva." And then he would turn around and start walking the other way, and I would do this. I said, the Mother Goddess walking that way. She was changing colors, Mother Goddess, Shiva, Mother Goddess. And Mathur said, something is wrong, I've got some problem. So he started, wiping his eyes, said, something is gone wrong with my, my eyesight. I'm seeing Shiva and Mother Goddess walking up and down, and they keep changing. He ran, the poor man ran, fell at the feet of the Ramakrishna and said, "Oh Father," he used to call him Father, "Oh Father, I know who you are, I know who you are." And this Ramakrishna said, "I don't know what you are talking about." He said, "But I see Shiva and Mother." He said, "I don't know anything." This man said, "I don't know anything." And this is your devotee from that day. Tremendous devotion to this Ramakrishna. You see, you need that first-hand glimpse into a personality to develop that relationship. Look, do you know why I'm waving my arms? It is the tremendous encounter of such high personalities that it makes you animated. Yeah, must do things. It is, if you like, glimpse of this deeper aspect to a personality that animates other human beings. So here we see this Mathur Babu. Let me do some of the extra stories with Mathur Babu, I think. One day Mathur Babu thought, look, he is such a lovely fellow, I must buy him some present. Understandable stuff, we all want to do stuff like that. So he bought the most expensive shawl. There must be manufactured in Banaras or something, very expensive shawl, maybe thousands of rupees in those days. And he presented it to Ramakrishna. And Ramakrishna is like a child, guileless. And yet I told you, this guy is difficult to fathom. What Vivekananda said is not understatement. I told you. So this Ramakrishna looked at the shawl and said, he felt so nice. Somebody gave a little present to a little boy. He put it round his shoulder and said, look. He was feeling very nice. For a few minutes this carried on, but you see the color of this gentleman showing up very quickly. And then suddenly he became very disgusted. He said, this shawl, how can it possibly capture my attention? This thing is capturing my attention? This is terrible. He threw the shawl on, they're watching him. Suppose you give a present to somebody, he wears it and goes, wow. And then he throws it on the floor in front of you. Not a good thing to do. And then did he stop there? No. He started kicking it. Did he stop there? No. He started spitting on it. Now if you give present to anybody, they start doing that. You must check out the mental home and see if he started spitting on it. Did he stop there? No. He was so annoyed. How dare this shawl capture my attention? He was so annoyed, he wanted to light a fire and burn it there. And they had to literally drag it away from me because he was after the shawl to burn it now. They had to drag it away from him and save the shawl. I think maybe sitting in the archives in Belur Mutt somewhere. They have to save the shawl because this guy was so annoyed with the shawl. How dare he? Let me tell you a reason. During this period, the Mother Goddess was constant vision for this young man. And he said in one of his talks, he said, you know what happened? Middle of night, one night, suddenly I heard that Mother Goddess, I heard somebody there, so I opened my eyes and saw the Mother Goddess standing next to me. And she was holding a little basket. And she said, my boy, I brought this for you. Look at this kind of fun and games story between Mother Goddess and Ramakrishna. She said, I brought a basket for you, my boy. And Ramkrishna looked in the basket. He said, you know what was in the basket? Name, fame, wealth. I said, told the Mother Goddess, Mother, I don't want any of this. Keep it to yourself. Now you see, you don't do that to Mother Goddess. He said, you can keep it. I don't have no time for this stuff. You keep it, oh Mother. Now you see, a person, I told you this, Ramakrishna is no ordinary person. To tell the Mother Goddess off, don't try and give this nonsense to me. I am not interested in any of this. And he used to say, I spit on this, mummy. This spitting was usual stuff for him. I spit on this. He said, I don't want any of this. He said, when I said that, the Mother Goddess smiled and disappeared. She was just messing around with him. At this particular juncture, I told you about this battle axe called Rani Rasmani, who owned the temple garden, who owned the temple, who was a major player in the field of commerce in Calcutta. One day she was looking after a huge corporation. One day she came to the temple. Of course, it's her temple. She'll come and everybody will look after her and she can sit in front of the deity and worship and do the formal worship. And she came and Sri Ramakrishna was singing this song to the Mother Goddess. Look, anybody who heard this Ramakrishna sing, I told you he was no good in maths, but he was very good at singing. Anybody who heard him sing, the hair on your body will stand up to attention, because now you see spirituality flowing. Those words will raise you, whoever you are, whatever your background, whatever your caliber. He will give you your caliber. He will lift you up.